What's up, real ones? Welcome to Let's View It. Thank you for clicking on my video for the first time or again. And Brandon Tatum just can't keep his really big helium-filled head out of this Nolan Wells case. I don't know what it is, but he is obsessed with trying to convince everybody else and prove that these so-called best friends of Nolan Wells didn't have anything to do with his death or don't even know what happened. And if you even think for the slightest that they seem a little suspect, or they might know a little more than what they're saying, then it's because you're a racist and you just hate white people and you want white people to be murderers of black people. That's why. You really like that, don't you? So race baitum Tatum, that's why we hate him, decided to do a second interview with 3 of Nolan Wells' besties and their defamation lawyer. And he's not just any defamation lawyer. He's a high-profile defamation lawyer. Just nobody knows who he is. To me, he is Mr. Sussy Pants. So anyways, I haven't watched this whole interview that race baitum Tatum, that's why we hate him, did. I only seen like a 30-second clip and that's all. And this video right here is like 27 minutes and he did 2 parts. So maybe I'll do 2 parts too because I'm a copycat. And who better to copy than a pure genius? So sit back, relax, and watch me react to this crap. But before I press play, let me tell the viewers right now, when you're watching a Brandon Tatum interview, you can't think of it as an interview. Think of it more as like what a defense attorney would be asking their client. That's what it is. All of this is planned out. They all know the questions. They already rehearsed all this. Brandon Tatum knows the answers, and the lawyer gave them the responses they should be saying. Just like if they were in court. This is not an interview. This is a defense that's disguised as an interview. So you already know. Let's view it.
These young men had nothing to do with it. We have Ed Paulsick, Warren.
Edward Paulsick. That's who the high-profile lawyer is. Now we all know.
Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. You know, why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one.
Right out the gate, you can tell that this is staged and it's an act and it's an attempt at manipulation. Look at their lawyer. Look how he is dressed. Do you really think that's how he dresses on a daily basis? And even if it is, do you really think he dresses that way when he's doing interviews about his clients who possibly killed somebody? Absolutely not. He's trying to dress as if he looks like they look, like he could be one of their friends. So really, all of you guys are going after future lawyers. This whole thing is an attempt to control what we think. And if they're telling the truth, why do you need to manipulate people?
Get out of working with them. What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney.
I'm having a hard time even listening to this guy. Why does he seem nervous? Out of everybody, the lawyer shouldn't seem nervous. You aren't even on trial. You aren't the one being accused of killing your best friend. And secondly, this is your profession, to defend people in public, to talk about it. Hell, you're a high-profile lawyer, right? So why is your leg shaking up and down and all this stuff? You should be a professional presenter. What's going on? What do you know that we don't know? Because if he's speaking the truth, then there's definitely nothing to be nervous about. Settle down, youngster. And what's with all the damn hats? I mean, I know I make it look good, but come on. And let me just mention this real fast so I don't have to talk about this part anymore. Look at how all the so-called best friends have closed postures. Either their hands are clasped in their pocket or their arms will be folded. Even the lawyer sister with his arms folded. And you can Google this. When you're being interrogated, those postures are signs of distress, that you're lying, that you're trying to comfort yourself. Those aren't good signs to show when you're being interrogated. And even though this is supposed to be an interview, it's really a defense.
And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, you know, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation. And
this is not an interview. This is a defense. He's trying to paint a picture of how these guys are so great. They're so great, great. They're incredible. They're wonderful. They're perfect. If I was one of them, I'd be like, can you chill out? This looks sus. Who talks like this? If this is just about defamation, meaning other people are lying about them, why do you have to mention how great they are? That doesn't even matter. This is a defense. This is what this is.
it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, you know, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, you know, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend, Nolan. And after that, what has life been like for you guys?
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole, like it just stopped. And I mean, we just got to live day by day from now on.
I could say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that. Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too, and it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but you know we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day. You know.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online, been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that, being spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's...
What the hell was that? Why did he go, why don't you elaborate more on how we've been spotted? This is scripted. This interview is scripted. I made a video earlier about the first interview to prove that they're scripted. Why would he do that? What teenage boy do you know turns to their friend and be like, why don't you elaborate more on it? They don't use words like elaborate.
It's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. You know, we're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, you know, like sometimes we just need some alone time, or sometimes we just need to, you know, lay back and not be around all this. And I mean, I've been called out in public, and I haven't been in public that much. I know my friends have had encounters in public. The threats have been insane from, you know, my stepmom and my dad, my mom, just everyone included, like even my brothers and my sisters. And it's just hard. I mean, it's unbelievable where like this has been taken to and the level where this is at.
When you say you've been called out in public, can you give me an example of like, what do you mean? People are threatening you with weapons? People are, not allowing you, denying you service? Because I heard that Trayston, he went to a corner store and they told him his money is not good there. They wouldn't even let him buy Gatorade.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing things like that or something totally different?
Right. I wouldn't say.
What does this have to do with whether or not they're innocent? Nothing at all. It's just trying to paint them as victims so people feel sorry about them. Look at what all they have to go through, which I get. I get why that sucks for them, especially if they didn't do it. But what does it have to do with whether or not they did it or not? This is not an interview. This is an attempt to sway the outside public opinion about them. And no, I don't think just because it seems like they did something or no more that they should be treated unfairly or mistreated. All the facts still need to come out.
Like that, I think I haven't been denied, anything, but like Trayston, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me, he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's crazy to me. Like, we live in a very tight-knit community, and for people to, push back and say these things when they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have, so.
And Ed,
What? Did you guys catch that? First of all, Warren goes, well, me personally, no one's tried to not sell me something or anything like that, but Trayston has. And of course, Trayston is not up there, right? He was in the first interview. And guess what, guys? Trayston is black. So the friend that's getting denied services is black. What in the world? But we're not going to make this about race. Warren isn't having these problems. And in fact, his friend sitting right next to him told Warren to elaborate more on, the outside public mistreating them and their encounters. And then it comes out that Warren doesn't even have these encounters, but he knows his friends do. What?
as an attorney that's representing these boys, I mean, what does that make you feel like? Do you feel like you got a good case here, or what's your perspective in that? Because people.
No, I think I got a really bad case. I wish I never took it because I'm gonna lose.
That's what he's gonna say, right? Stupid. This is not an interview.
Or online, and obviously they know who you are. Obviously they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high-profile cases. And so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been, threatened online. Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you. And you're going to be hauled into court, you're going to be held accountable, and it's going to be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now. Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave.
So right now, all this lawyer is trying to do, let's keep it real. He's not trying to sue anybody. What he's trying to do is get people to stop thinking or saying that they did it. That's all, because understand this, defamation is not just lying about somebody. It's knowingly, purposely lying on somebody to cause some sort of damage towards them, whether it's mentally, financially, whatever the case is. You in your mind is like, I'm gonna make up some lies and go after this guy and destroy him. That's what defamation is. It's not just misunderstanding or coming to the wrong conclusion or thinking something that you think is truth, but it is a lie. That's not what it is. So in my opinion, this whole lawyer thing is just to quiet the people that are speaking against them. And I just noticed this, but what are they all smiling about? Smiling, smiling, smiling. There's nothing funny right now. Was there a joke said? Your best friend is dead, and damn near everybody thinks you did it, except for people that don't want you to have done it.
You won't be able to get out of it. And we're not going to name names because there's some other folks who are doing that, and we want to be better than that. And I want to emphasize this, right? We're not here to guess. We're not here to speculate. We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately, because there are people who want to divide a town and come in from the outside and tell people what to think and pit neighbor against neighbor, it compounds the tragedy. It magnifies the tragedy. And I just want to say this. Here's why it's an even bigger tragedy. Because my friends here, Morgan, Jax, and Warren, these guys are not just the finest that Ocean Springs has to offer, the finest that Mississippi has to offer. These are the finest young men that America has to offer. These are, really great people.
What in the hell is going on?
You see, Tyrone is not only the finest person Idaho has to offer, or America has to offer. He is the finest
that the world has to offer.
So he's innocent.
This lawyer is doing too damn much. Ain't no way these kids are shit. I get that their parents love them and all that, but let's face it, on a world scale, on a Mississippi scale, they ain't shit. They're just born with money. Good for them. Not any of these kids are gonna be anything special. I promise you.
Tyler actually taught me good Ocean Springs people. That was one of the first things I heard when I got here. So I'll just say that. They're good Ocean Springs people.
And how confident are you? Because you just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it?
No, absolutely not. I have no confidence whatsoever. I'm just hoping they pay me a little bit, and once they're locked up forever, I can wash my hands of it.
Spoiler alert.
Confidence not a strong enough word. In fact, beyond a reasonable doubt is not strong enough. There's a 0% chance that they did anything wrong. So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%. 100.000%. Nothing.
There's no decimals, you guys. There's no decimals. It's not 99.9999999. We get it. We know what 100% is, and we know what 0% is. What is this guy doing? This seems so suspect. It seems like you're trying to make people believe this. Not that it's true. If I went to you and told you I'm the greatest, I'm a good person, and I keep telling you how great I am and how good I am, eventually you're going to be like, who is he trying to convince? In this case, the world.
They did nothing wrong. And that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud, and attacked them. You don't get to lie. We have a First Amendment. We love our First Amendment, but you don't get to lie and hurt people. You want to lie and it doesn't hurt people? Fine. You lie and you hurt people, that's why we have defamation. And that's what this is about. So I just want to emphasize this in the strongest possible terms. Zero wrongdoing. Completely innocent, totally innocent, and categorically innocent.
I was about to say, they better not just be innocent.
You guys have had experiences with either people threatening you online. I know that, Warren, we talked about this before, and we talked a little, or at least spoke a little bit about when you go out, you guys are getting accosted by people. Can you give us an example of, or at least tell the audience an example of an incident where you guys may have been accosted? Or what does that look like when you go out? People threaten you with weapons, or people trying to physically harm you, or people having to be restrained? What kind of engagement is happening when you guys go out?
We went to a restaurant, a couple of buddies of mine, and when we were, I wouldn't say threatening with weapons or anything, but I felt, and I know my friends felt, threat for our lives. I mean, I don't think there was like a fear factor, but at the same time, like it's awkward in public, like I stated, like when we have to talk about these things. But we went to a restaurant and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this you?" And I was kind of like shaken up about it. Well, at first she asked like my name and like all these questions, and I was like, okay, whatever, she's just coming up to talk. Well, then she came up to me again and showed me our first interview and was like, "Are you sure this isn't you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's me, like obviously." And
Bruh, Warren seems so shook, so nervous. I have to believe they ended up regretting this interview. Only people that want them to be innocent is gonna say positive things about this interview because they seem guilty in some way. All of them seem guilty. Look at their postures.
she kind of just, I looked at my buddy and I was like, "Yeah, we're leaving, like close everything out, like we're going." And I left, and there was an altercation after I left with some of my buddies that weren't involved in this at all. And they told my friends that they were gonna kill them and they wanted to fight and all this like crazy stuff. I mean, I wasn't there, but my friends told me this, that what the people were saying to them was like totally just crazy. Like, I mean, there was people like that were, outside of this telling us like, "Hey, you need to leave before something happens because I know what could go down right now. And like, I know that these people are crazy." So, I mean, we all felt, we were kind of shaken up about that. It was weird because it was our first encounter as a group. And I think it's also like just crazy that people will like look at you in the eye and tell you they'll kill you because they believe you killed your best friend and you have nothing to do with it.
And Morgan and Jax, were you guys there?
Yes, we were there.
I was there.
I didn't hear the part where they said they were gonna kill him and stuff, but I did hear whenever she came up to him originally, she was like, "Hey, you have like TikTok or anything like that? Your face looks really familiar." And he was like, "No, I don't have TikTok, anything like that." And she was like, "Oh, okay."
It was a girl that came up to him. When he was telling the story, you were thinking it was a dude, but it was a girl.
And then walked off and then came back with, like you said, the first interview on her phone and showing him. She's like, "So this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you." And he was like, "Well, yeah, that's me." And then we got the check and we bounced and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while we're waiting outside is whenever some of our other buddies that aren't even on social media that we were just there with was getting told that other people were going to kill them and all that kind of stuff.
So how did that make you guys feel did you think they were serious? Did you think it was just people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others? Like, what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like, I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened. And I actually got into a conversation with a fellow next to me that wasn't even involved. And he told me straight up, he was like, "If I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe." And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
If you can go back to the very beginning of this, how do you think this should have played out? Because I always question in my mind that when I go back, I look at what happened, I look at the initial stories with Nolan, and you guys knew him, right? I didn't know him. I know none of you guys. I just had a chance to meet you guys more recently. But how do you think this should have gone? If you could control the environment, Nolan is found deceased. How do you guys think that this should have been put out to the world?
So first off, I wish that none of this would ever happen. I wish Nolan could still be here with us today. And I wish that, like I said, none of this would ever happen. Like I wish that all this could be erased and Nolan could be here tomorrow. I mean, that's more than anything. But other than that, I feel like his mom blasting us on social media from the get-go, saying that he was out there with Warren and another guy. That's where it first started to take off. And then also the fact that she posted a picture of me and Morgan and another guy and Nolan on the.
You guys look so sus. There's always a point where there's people you don't want to mention. Another guy, my buddy. Another guy, my buddy and me. Oh, and Kid's sister. Kid's sister. You guys seem sus. You seem sus. Your lawyer seems sus too. Hell, I think he did it as well. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't want him to come sue me for nothing I got.
And another guy and Nolan on the boat together, blasting that out there, pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either. And I don't think if those would have never happened, a lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. And it wasn't him.
Did he just admit that the dad was accusing him of funny business with Nolan? Because he just said he was like blah blah, because obviously he caught himself and didn't want to say what the dad was accusing him of. But his response to his dad was, bro, you know that was like my brother. So obviously the dad was accusing him of something. Brandon Tatum, you need to be on your P's and Q's when making your videos, because I'm watching.
It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about to all the stuff that we were going to. We'd go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time,
Well, first off, like, I wish we would have never, like, I think about this every day. Like, I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July, because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone. And
so he wishes they didn't go out on the 4th of July because he knows this could have happened. Maybe it was just an innocent slip up. Maybe.
like, it's really hard to think about, because it's like, I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different, because now one of my brothers passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, crazy things. But I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that, like, people are pushing the narrative, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is, for, like, in the beginning it was like 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there. Like, even from the beginning, it was just like this thing, and no one had facts, and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has like been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
I also want to say, I think it's so criminal that they took something so anti-racist and flipped it into something super racist. Like they took, this is the definition of anti-racism. I mean, that we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you. You know, this is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different. We didn't treat Trayson any different. We don't treat Trayson any different. And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism. And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on this? How does it affect you?
If I mean, first I want to say I wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today. And but I in my opinion, I think that the media they shouldn't have pushed a narrative from so early. I think that they should have let the local officials do their job, let them release statements, and then, I mean, the media is obviously going to see that and then do whatever they do. But that's what I mean. I trust the local officials.
Ed, with what has transpired.
Yeah, I bet you trust the local officials. You know what stands out to me is, first of all, why do all of them say that Nolan was like a brother? I get if one of them he was like a brother to, but he's like a brother to every single friend he has? So he's best friends with everybody. Is that what we're supposed to believe? Obviously, they're saying like a brother because it's the closest thing you can possibly say about a friend, a male friend, right? He's like a brother. Yeah, like a brother, right, guys? Yeah, he's like a brother. He was like our brother. If that's true, then why does it seem like it doesn't affect any of you guys? If it was like some of you guys it didn't affect, but one of you guys just started crying over it, that would make more sense than none of you guys crying over it. All of you guys say he's like a brother, he's like a brother, he was like our brother, but none of you are crying over him like a brother. But maybe that's because I'm racist.
You know, how does that dictate your response? Because you have a 30,000 foot view of all of this stuff, right? You see the way that it could have went, and you see that there's people that instigated the narrative that's out there now. And as a defamation attorney, how does this navigate your tactics?
Sure, and I want to be clear about something. Tonight, I'm not going to give any particular person any more oxygen than they may have already sucked up. But I will say this. What's been said about Morgan, Jax, and Warren, I'm not going to call them untruths or half-truths or falsehoods. I'm going to call it what it is, lies. So the first thing that's really important here is we're dealing with lies and liars. We're dealing with profiteers. We're dealing with hustlers. And one thing that I've seen since I got here is that Ocean Springs, Mississippi, is a really beautiful place. And the region is very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places in the country. And there is just no question, the death of Nolan Wells is a horrendous tragedy. But for the tragedy to then be magnified after his death for no reason other than profit is a disgrace, or what we would call a shanda. And I had the opportunity to go to Horn Island today with Tyler and Warren and Jax. And a lot of people who have been sucking up way more oxygen than they're entitled to have not been to the island. I'm willing to bet that a lot of the hustlers and profiteers and liars have not been to that island. And you have to go to that island. And being at the island today was revelatory. It was really illuminating. It's a very dynamic marine environment, first of all. But when you go to the island, you see instantly that what some people want to be true, what they wish to be true, they're trying to wish it to be true. They're trying to make it true through their lies. It's actually not possible. It is a very, very long and narrow barrier island. It's basically very low sand dunes. And in the particular part of the island that we're dealing with, there are no trees. There's hardly any foliage, hardly any tree cover, hardly any plants, and it's wide open. And on July 4th, there were thousands of people there. There is no possible way that anybody could have committed a murder in broad daylight on a barren, windswept island that is narrow and was just swamped with people that day in broad daylight. It's just not possible given the natural environment there.
But it's possible for someone to accidentally drown there without anybody noticing at all. Like they saw Nolan, then turned around, and then turned back and didn't see him? Not even that? You want people to believe that he drowned in front of thousands of people, but nobody saw it.
And that leads me to the next point, which is this. Once you know what the timeline is, when you combine the timeline with the actual dynamics of the island itself, all of the lies completely unravel. Because it isn't possible, and here's why. Morgan, Warren, and Jax left the island at about 4:30 p.m. That's it. They were gone. That is not open for debate. So that's a fact. They were gone. And at that time...
Do you notice how intensely they are staring at their lawyer right now? If all of this is true and they don't know what happened, why are they so locked into what he's saying right now? Like locked in, suspensefully locked in.
Nolan Wells was still alive. Now, I'm not going to name them out of respect for their privacy, but just as one example, there are two very fine, upstanding members of the Ocean Springs community who saw Nolan Wells at about 10 minutes to 6 p.m. So about an hour and a half after these fine young men had left the island. They were gone, departed. Nolan Wells was alive. And these two witnesses, two very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan.
These witnesses, very reliable, upstanding citizens of the community, geniuses, perfect. They told Jesus, hold my beer. These are attempts at manipulation. All these extreme adjectives and repeats of adjectives, these fine men, these wonderful people, these outstanding this, these amazing that, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. This looks suspicious. It sounds suspicious. It is suspicious.
They've known Nolan for years. There's no chance that they made a mistake. And by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts. And that's the end of it right there. That's before we get into everything else about the situation.
And when I look at this, I feel like there's levels of defamation and areas of defamation. And I'm not going to speak on your behalf because this is y'all's story to tell, your story to litigate.
Not only does race bait him, Tatum, that's why we hate him, see defamation, he sees it on different levels, different scales, in depth. Defamation of defamation. Shut up, helium head.
But which areas are the most egregious that you are going to go after, or that you guys think also are areas where people have taken this situation and clearly lied to the public? One being the phone call. What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts, first, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
So that's the end of part 1. As you can see, in part 2, he's going to go into that crazy audio. So that's got to be interesting. So I think I will do a part 2 and we'll watch that together too. Hell, why not? So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of their defense, disguised as an interview. And if you have anything you want to add to this video, then comment below. Tell me what you think. And after you're done telling me what you think, you know I'm still gonna need you to hit that bell like the hunchback. Also click that hit tracker button and subscribe with me. And I'll see you on the next trip.
Day and night. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. All my life. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. Can't help I. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. That's